Hey dude, there are 1,000,001 different ways that you can run your online coaching business, but this video specifically is going to teach you the simple one-person coaching business model that I'm currently running, and I think it's freaking awesome, so I'm going to teach it to you. To give you some context, I've been running this model for the last 7 months or so, and in that time, I've managed to generate over $500,000 in sales with no team, no coaching staff, no delegation, no setters, no closers, none of that stuff. Just literally me in this little office here in the middle of nowhere in the UK. It's a dream, I love it. I do have some help from a virtual assistant, Naomi, who does a little bit of manual admin tasks in the back end for me, but nothing in terms of front end coaching or sales team or anything like that. So literally no management of team throughout the week. So really, really nice business model. And in this video, I'm going to teach you the lead generation strategy that I'm using. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm attracting leads into the business. I'm going to teach you how I nurture them. I'm going to show you the conversion process, so how we actually turn those leads into prospects and then ultimately into customers and clients. And then also how I deliver the coaching to, at the time of recording this, just over 80 one-to-one high ticket coaching clients. So without further ado, let's get stuck into it, shall we? Pages. Let's go in here. Cool. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the lead attraction process of this business. And I'm going to try and teach this to you in 2 ways at the same time. Number 1, what I did, so that you can just kind of see exactly how I've done it. And then number 2, what I kind of recommend that you should do based on where you're potentially at, who you work with, and so on and so forth. So the first thing that I did is I picked my attention platform. So I think of content marketing in 2 ways. The first way is attention, and the second way is nurture. They're 2 very different aims of marketing. And I think some platforms are better for getting attention and some platforms are better for nurturing. And we'll come on to that when we get into the nurture section of this lesson. But for the sake of this part of the lesson, I want you to think of your attention platform in 2 specific pieces of criteria in terms of what you should choose. The first thing that you should think about is, what is the type of content that you like to consume? So for me, if I'm spending time on socials and consuming content, it would be Instagram. I watch reels, I read carousel posts, I watch people's stories. That's where I would spend the bulk of my content consumption time, and YouTube. The second thing that I think you should think about is where your ideal customers consume content. So you might absolutely love TikTok, for example, but you're trying to sell B2B coaching services. TikTok's maybe not the best place for you to create content, right? Because your potential customers and clients aren't going to be spending a lot of time there, okay? So just have those 2 things in mind when you are picking your attention channel, okay? For the sake of this example, we're just going to assume that it's Instagram, because that's what I went for. The second thing that I did, and the second thing that I recommend that you do, is you create belief shifting content. So let me just explain what this is with a bit of an analogy. If you work in the health and fitness niche, get my words out, your potential clients maybe have a belief that they have to cut all carbohydrates from their diet to lose weight. You would make content that makes them see your way of doing things is the new, better way of doing things, where they don't have to cut carbohydrates and they can actually keep the foods that they enjoy in moderation in their diet, maintain a calorie deficit, and lose weight. That is belief shifting content. So the easiest way to sum this up is, instead of making how-to content, make why content. Okay, why should people do things? That's the easiest way to think about shifting your audience's belief. And I do this every single week, okay? The second part of this attention piece for lead gen is I spend 10% of the business's profits each month on what I call growth tax ads, okay? So growth tax ads are really simple profile visit ads that are targeted towards my ideal clients. And the whole goal of those ads is to bring new eyeballs onto my Instagram page on a daily basis. That is it. Now, there is some nuance as it relates to what goes into making some good growth tax ads. You know, you want to think about the copywriting. Are you calling out your ideal customer? Getting your calls to actions in nice and early, like all of these little things that are nuanced. But generally speaking, we just want to run profile visit ads or an ad to your desired attention social media platform that's going to bring new eyeballs onto the page every single day, okay? The third and final piece of this attention part of the lead gen strategy is what I call chats to cash outreach, okay? And this is basically just a warm DM to new qualified followers who come across my IG page where I introduce myself, I say hello, and I get in their line of sight, okay? And to give you a bit of an insight as to how I'm doing this or why I'm doing it this way is I hate cold DMs, big no-no for me. I hate being on the receiving end of them. And, you know, I think if I don't enjoy being on the receiving end of cold DMs from copywriters and video editors and setters and all these people who are always in your inbox, why would I do it to other people, right? So I only ever DM people who have made the first move. So somebody who's just followed my account, someone who's inquired about working with me or opted into my lead magnets, then I will consider DMing people if I feel they're qualified. That is pretty much the entire lead attraction piece of this puzzle. Really, really simple. And I said at the beginning of this video that this business model is stupidly simple, and I'm not lying. It really, really is. So the second piece of the equation, you remember I said about I see content marketing in two kind of compartments. The first compartment is attraction or attention, as we just went through, and the second piece is nurture. Now, before I explain what I'm doing here, I just want to explain a concept that was taught to me many, many years ago by an old mentor, Paul, that has always stuck with me. And I think this is a really nice way of just thinking about your audience, your leads, your prospects. There are only ever 3 types of buyers consuming your content, okay? 3 types of people. We have never buyers, right? These are the guys and girls who are looking at your content, following your social media pages, but they are never going to be a customer or a client. Maybe they don't resonate with your message. Maybe they don't ever have a need or a demand for your services. For whatever reason, they're just never going to be a client. The second type of person is future buyers, okay? They're not ready right now, but with enough nurturing over time, they could and would be a client in the future, okay? They just need to see more social proof. Maybe you need to add more value to their lives. You need to demonstrate that you're the right man or girl for the job, okay? And then finally, we have now buyers. You've got people in your audience that with the right nudge, with the right offer, would quite happily put their hand up and say, Ollie, I'm interested in working with you. How can I take the next step? They're already in your audience. They're already ready to rock. They just need the right prompt to pull them out of the weeds. So the whole point, now that we understand this about the types of buyers, the whole point of the nurturing piece of this business model is we are literally just trying to shorten the sales cycle. We're trying to shorten the amount of time that it takes from someone to go from being a future buyer to I'm ready to buy now, okay? So if you think that all of our leads and prospects are on this continuum, they're on this scale, and right down at this end, we've got people who are not likely to buy. They are not likely to buy right now. And then on this end, we have people who are very likely to buy. When we post content, depending on how much value that content adds to people's lives, we are moving them down this scale of becoming more likely to buy from you. Okay, we are pushing them down this nurture scale. And long form content is, in my mind, is basically a cheat code to accelerate this nurturing process, right? If you think about the amount of 20 or 30-second reels that a potential client would have to watch to get the same amount of value if they just sat down and watched a 30 or 45 YouTube video, 45 minute, get my words out again, a 45-minute YouTube video of you going in detail, talking about your knowledge, talking about your experience, the amount of value that somebody would get from that YouTube video or that podcast is insanely better at speeding up this nurturing process than several 30-second clips that they probably just scroll off anyway. So the way that we do this, the way that the nurture piece works is we get attention on our attention channel, so Instagram for me. We get people to opt in to our lead magnets with ManyChat. That pushes them into an email sequence, and then we send long form content to that email list. So all of this long form content that I'm producing now, this video that you're currently watching, this will be siphoned back through my email list of my most engaged leads, people who have opted in to my email list from my attention channel, which is Instagram, okay? That is the nurture piece. And again, I really want to hammer this point home. The whole goal is that we are shortening the sales cycle. We are speeding up the time it takes to take someone from being a future buyer to ready to buy right now. That is it, okay? Awesome. Let's move on to the next piece here, which is conversion or sales. Now, I'm breaking this down into two parts. The first thing that I want to say is I want to keep my sales process as simple as I possibly can. The more complexity you add here, yes, there is an argument that you may be optimized conversion rates, but you are also taking away from profits more often than not if you've got setters and closers or sales team. Or if you're doing sales yourself, i.e. jumping on Zoom calls with clients or phone calls, you are eating into your most valuable asset, which is your time and energy, okay? Something that cannot be replaced. So I throw it back to an old military saying that we used to have. Many years ago, I served in the British Army, well, for 9+ years. We used to say, keep it simple, stupid, okay? KISS was the acronym that got thrown around all the time. Keep it simple, stupid. So all I simply do in my email CTAs that go out to my email list of growing subscribers, I'm up to just over 10,000 subscribers now in the last few months. In my CTAs, my call to actions, I basically get people to reply to my emails in the inbox. And once they reply to my email and they show interest in working with me, I send them a really simple offer document. And the offer document explains in detail how my program works, what it is that people get when they work with me, what results we're going to be working towards, timeframes, investment options, everything is in there. Everything is included. There's also a VSL in there as well, a video sales letter, which explains in detail how I work with my clients. On my attention channel, if I ever do a call to action on there, so I would typically keep my CTAs to my Instagram stories. I don't necessarily put them in my main page posts because I feel like that kills your reach. But if I put a CTA on my Instagram stories, I will just get people, again, to DM me in my inbox. Once they've DM'd me, I'll have a quick conversation with them in the DMs, and if I feel like they're a fit, I send them my offer document. That simple. Remember, keep it simple, stupid, okay? In my long form content, in my descriptions of my YouTube videos, so you can look at the description of this YouTube video and all of my YouTube videos, you'll see that I have a really simple CTA that sends people to a link to message me on Instagram. They message me a keyword, I chat with them, and then I send them my offer document. That is it. Super simple, right? And people can read through that document and they can make a decision as to whether or not the coaching program is right for them or not. It's completely cool with me, okay? No high pressure sales calls, no spending hours on high pressure calls each week with strangers trying to convince them to send me money. I'm not doing that anymore. That's not the business that I want, okay? And I certainly don't want to share a large percentage of the profits from acquiring a client with a setter or a closer either. So quick note on this, lead management is the key. All of these leads are added to a simple tracker and they're followed up with every single week. So lead management really is the glue that brings all of this together. Okay, if you're getting responses to the calls to actions that you're putting out in your email list or on your social media platforms or on your YouTube content, but you're not storing those leads somewhere in a safe, manageable place that you can refer back to and follow up with people, then this will not work. okay? There's like a ridiculous stat. It's something like 80% of sales come on the 7th plus touch point, right? What that means is that very rarely will you speak to a prospect just once and they hand over their hard-earned cash and begin working with you. There's usually follow-ups, there's back and forwards, and on average, 80% of sales come on the 7th plus touch point. So your follow-up process is incredibly important here. Okay, so part 2, or part B if you like, of the conversion process is micro offers. I want to explain micro offers with this really stupid doodle that I have here, but I think it paints the scene quite well. So I want you to imagine this is what most high ticket coaches do, right? They have their prospects over here who are wanting to work with them, wanting to work with the high ticket coach. But to work with the high ticket coach, you have to hand over thousands of dollars, right? And it is a big leap of faith for people. Okay, you are basically saying to people, come and trust me. You know, you can trust me. Wire me thousands of dollars. I assure you it's going to be great. Now, in a market where skepticism is at an all-time high, trust is at an all-time low, and we have bad players who are burning clients and sending them back into the market after having bad experiences, this leap of faith is often too much for people, and people are unwilling to hand over large sums of money. So what we do with a micro offer is we basically give away absolutely everything that we do. So here's our prospect who wants to work with us. We shorten the gap. Okay, the leap of faith is much smaller with a micro offer because, you know, let's say you normally charge 5K for your coaching program. Your micro offer might be $500 for 30 days. Now, the big mistake is, or the big mistake that I often see high ticket coaches making when they create lower ticket or lower priced options for their services is they start taking things away, right? So they go, well, this thing's only $500, right? So I won't do the one-to-one coaching calls, or I won't give them access to me in our one-to-one Slack channel, or I won't give them the whole course material. I'll just give them a section of it. And the problem is that when you treat the customer like that, the micro offer customer, they come away from the experience thinking, well, that was a little bit, dare I say it, shit. And when you leave the customer with that experience, your ability to upsell them into your core offer, i.e. the 5K in this instance, has been incredibly diminished. So the micro offer is basically your opportunity as the business to put your best foot forward and to demonstrate just how good you are, and then make upselling easy. So when I do this, typically, I will open spots for anywhere between 5 and 10 clients to come and join me on a micro offer. It's a 30-day incubator. They get access all areas. They get full access to me. They can book in calls with me as and when they need, as all my clients can. They can speak to me every single day in Slack if they so wish. They get everything that a full client would get for me for a fraction of the cost, for 10% of the cost of my core offer. And then in weeks 3 and 4 of this 30-day program, I literally send the micro offer customer a really simple 3 to 4 minute personalized Loom video and just say, hey dude, I've loved working with you over the last 30 days or so. I would love to continue working with you. Here are your options. And 50 to 60% of those guys and girls will come back and say, I've loved this. This has been incredible. Take my money. You know, here's the rest of the cash. And they just pay up in full for the rest of the year. You will obviously have people within those micro offer customers who don't upgrade, and that's absolutely fine. But you've still managed to collect whatever it is that you charge for the micro offer. You've still managed to help somebody. You've still managed to get more social proof. You still managed to develop your skills as a coach. So it's a win-win situation all round, in my opinion. So that is the second part of conversions, is running these micro offers, and it's a key part of the strategy that I use and the strategy that I teach my clients in Remote Pro. And then let's look at delivery now. And I put some dollar signs here, right? Because often people skip past the delivery stuff and they think, I really care about lead generation and sales. That's where the money's at, you know? And I think it's the wrong way to think about things because, as I said here, when you get this bit right, when you get delivery right, you make a lot of cash. So I've got this kind of diagram here. I want to explain what I've got going on and show you what I mean by this. So we have mechanisms for getting results with our clients. We've got certain tools in our toolbox that we can use as coaching businesses that we can give to our clients to help them win, right? Now, some of those tools are more leveraged than other tools, right? So we've got this scale up the axis here. Not leveraged at all, a little bit leveraged, leveraged quite a lot, and then the most leveraged. So one-to-one calls and one-to-one messages with clients are not leveraged at all, okay? They are not leveraged because it takes your time and your energy every time you communicate with a client, whether it's on a call or in a message back and forwards. It takes your time and energy and it cannot be reused. Okay, so it's not leveraged. Now, a bespoke plan or a strategy that you create for a client is a bit leveraged, right? It is a little bit leveraged. And the reason being is normally a plan or a strategy will see that client through for however long the plan lasts, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, a year, whatever, right? So it is a bit leveraged. It is supporting the client and helping the client to get a result without constantly needing you to be doing something. Group calls and group messages plus generic plans and generic strategies are very leveraged, because if I run a group call, yes, it might take me an hour and a half or 2 hours to run that session each week, but it doesn't matter how many clients are on the call, I can deliver value to all of them at the same time. So it's very leveraged. And then at the top of this, the most leveraged tools that we have in our toolbox is like a drip-fed learning material / course. Okay, that is the most leveraged asset that we have in a coaching business to help our clients get results. Okay, now really key point that I want to make here before we move on. I am not for 1 second saying that you should only focus on leveraged mechanisms for getting results, because all of these things are important. There are instances where clients need specific support from you, where referring them to course material just isn't going to cut the mustard, and you need to have a conversation with them, either in Slack or in Discord or wherever you speak to them on a Zoom call. You need this one-to-one piece to make your clients win or to help your clients win more often than not. But what I am saying is that you need to focus, if you want to build a scalable one person coaching business, as I have. I'm working with 80 clients currently with just me on about 3 hours delivery a day max. Then you need these more leveraged mechanisms for getting results in place. Okay, so if you really do want to scale one of these one person high leverage businesses, you need to have these assets in place. And look, when you get this bit right, when you get delivery right, when you get incredible results for your clients, this is what starts to happen. That was the slowest reveal ever. Your clients get amazing results and do your marketing for you. I can't remember who said it. It may have been Alex or Mosey, but they said, spend 2 years building something incredible and let your clients do the marketing for the rest of your life. And that all comes downstream from how you deliver your service to your clients. It's the most important part of your coaching business. Don't ever get blindsided to think it's something else. It's not lead gen, it's not sales. If you just got delivery right and you managed to blow away 5 clients, your business would grow exponentially by itself. If you want to throw coal on the fire, if you want to make $500,000 in a couple of months from starting a new business, as I have, then get delivery right and get the lead generation, the lead nurture and the sales bit right, and you will just blow up, okay? Dude, this is the business. I really want you to build your coaching business this way. It's the way my clients do it. They're absolutely crushing it. Harry last week hit black belt in our program. We run a belt structure. Black belt is when you earn 20K a month or more. We also just had James hit black belt this literally today. I had the notification come through on Slack. So our clients are building phenomenal businesses, multiple six-figure businesses every single year running this model. So do it, enjoy it, and I will see you on the next one. Peace and love.